Hi world! Welcome to my channel Lunatic Plays. I'm the lunatic who plays video games. I'm also recently started enlightening the masses. So welcome to this Witchy Hour vlog with Adriana. Hi!
Hi, I'm Adriana. Thank you so much, Luna, for having me, joining me with our Witchy Hour. I am part of StarrySkyReadings on YouTube, and my website is also StarrySkyReadings. We both are tarot readers, and we both connected and are collaborating. I'm also an astrologer. I do past life readings. I'm an intuitive reader. So I will be sharing a little bit of astrology as well.
I'm so excited for this, and thank you so much for doing this with me. I mean, I literally I only have maybe 2 videos up, so I just started this journey. I do a lot of things, I do gaming and I do cooking, but spirituality is an extremely important thing for me, for my growth. And I part of the thing I want to do on my channel is to spread this message, with whoever, if people follow me and my madness, then I want to share this with them and hopefully, educate and enlighten as many people as possible to help people live, better, healthier, and happier lives. And there's many ways to living happier and healthier, but this is one of them, and I'm actually really, really excited that this happened. People on my channel, they know I've done the astrology reading with you. One of the vlogs I did with my friend, I was actually doing her tarot reading on a live stream.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, we were I think we were talking about it. I don't remember if it was before or after it, but it was so cool. So this is my
Your starseed
astrologer.
reading was very, very fun to do with you. Yeah.
Yes.
We
So
went
this
really
is
deep too.
it really was, and it led us
Yeah.
here. So I'm really excited about it. And yes, we have Salem, which is reading. We've got some reading about Jack the Ripper, and also we'll be exchanging some theories about the recent P Diddy case. Just
Getting into it, yeah.
share some stuff that we think's going on. So
Very
should
fitting
we
for the
do?
Halloween season.
No, I agree. I think that I will definitely let you take the lead here because, I do read tarot, and I kind of done it more like a hobby. I recently started advertising on Patreon. Link down below.
Yeah, check out her tarot readings.
And also check out Adriana's page. Everything will be in the description, but also I don't have too much professional experience doing tarot readings. I'm getting into it now, and I will be going into Julia Balaz's astrology as well soon.
Oh,
I
did
hope.
you decide to go to
I will
register?
do it. It's just more of a matter of when exactly I'm gonna
Sure.
time
Yeah.
it to, because I just have a couple of things lined up, and I just want to have 6 months where I know nothing is coming up. And I
Right.
have one more trip I have to go on, to visit my grandfather because he's really ill, and I have to see him sometime this winter. So
Oh,
after I come back,
yeah, yeah.
I will start the course.
I was gonna say, if you have any questions about it, let me know.
Oh yeah.
Julia Blaz is my teacher from the
Oh.
course when I became certified with Galactic Astrology. So yeah, any questions that you have about it, let me know. I also just wanted to say the astrology right now is really intense. We were just talking before we recorded that the energy is very just intense right now.
Yeah.
There's really, I don't think any other word to describe it. There's this Pluto pre-shadow, or I'm sorry, Mars pre-shadow, and it's making, I believe it's an opposition or a square to Pluto. Can't remember which one it was now, but especially with the US elections, of course, coming
Yeah.
up. We also, around Halloween, I'll quickly show you, I'll share my screen.
Ooh.
There is a pentagram alignment, or it's also called a castle, just to narrow
Now,
down
I
the
am
line.
familiar with trines and oppositions, but I'm not familiar with the castle. What does that mean?
Yeah, this was totally new for me until I looked this up for Halloween, and it's actually lasting the rest of this week and next week, so during the US election. So I think
Wow.
that's very compelling too. Very spiritual alignments here. So we got a lot of water signs, right? And then we have 2 earth signs. So this is how it looks. It looks like a pentagram, right?
It
Very
does.
interesting so it's a castle, it's called. And what I intuitively get from it, and from what I've researched, it's very much something of protection needed. There is a sense of spiritual protection at this time, and also spiritual warfare is happening, I feel like, behind the scenes. And, not to go too deep, but you can kind of feel that happening. I mean, we're going to talk a little bit more about this later with celebrities like P Diddy,
Yeah.
things like that, these very dark things that Pluto has been bringing up this past year. And he's definitely one of them with these, horrible acts and things. There were some other people too that have been found out. So this has been, I feel like this is, just kind of coming to a head here. But the castle, I would just say, without going too much detail into it, because I did talk about it in my Halloween podcast. If you want to check that out on my YouTube, it's Heart to Heart Astrology Podcast, it's called. Yeah. But yeah, just to quickly say, just protect yourself, do spiritual protection, especially if you're like us and you're into this type of stuff. I just saged my whole house. I'm going to salt the windows and doors too.
Oh,
Just, be careful of, just people might be more prone to arguing with you too, just when you're out. So just watch out for that. Kind of build your own psychic fortress, I call it, and just be more mindful of that as well. So I don't think anything to be too scared of, but it's just more so that it's a very spiritual time at play. The veil is thin right now, right? So yeah, a lot going on with that.
I read somewhere that in terms of that US election, that there is a rise of feminine energy right now, and that the astrologer that I read about was projecting that potentially it could translate to Kamala being in the lead based on his astrological projection. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get too much into like predicting for the the election results and all that. But I do think that there is definitely a rise in, more particularly, the dark feminine, I would call it. From what, I've been seeing with the astrology. I'm trying to think of any particular examples, but we've been talking about it a lot this year. Like I said, in my podcast that I do with my grandmother, actually. So we talk a lot about these things, and we've definitely seen a rise in the feminine, and particularly the dark feminine is really coming up. And when I say the dark feminine, to those who maybe aren't familiar with that, it's not necessarily dark as in bad or evil. It's more so like, how can I say, like Kali, if you're familiar with Hinduism, Kali, she is the dark feminine that comes out. Whereas you have Lakshmi, that is the very light feminine, more soft feminine, like Venus, Aphrodite. But Kali comes up, and she's kind of like putting her foot down, and that theme is definitely, as we can see too in the United States, is very much at a forefront here. So yeah, definitely a lot of that is coming into play. And time will tell. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I don't ever like to believe too much from one side or another when it comes to these things. I was just kind of curious, how is it all like aligning in the grander scheme of things, but only time will tell.
Yeah, and I'm kind of the same too. I'm very much in my own personal belief that we don't want, masculine overtaking feminine. We don't want feminines overtaking the masculine. We want balance, right? So that's how I personally feel, and I think that is the end goal that we should be striving for, in my opinion. So
yeah, no, I agreed. I mean, if I was going to make a decision, judging by how the feminine has fallen after the times of Atlantis, maybe it would be nice for it to rise, but that's just a little anecdote on my side.
Like, the the Amazonians, like Wonder
Yeah,
Woman,
that would be
like
great.
yeah,
Imagine.
that's all matriarchal though. Yeah.
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 Anyway,
Well,
so do you reckon we should get started on the Salem witch reading?
yeah, let's get right into that. Yeah, that
Should
sounds
we do a
great.
little prayer of protection before we get into the cards? How do you typically engage with your cards? I generally start out by doing like a little prayer. I don't know if
Mm,
that's something
sure, let's do that, Luna. That sounds great. Yeah.
up your
I
alley.
normally cleanse my space and I've already like casted my circle around myself of protection. So but I'm more than happy to do like a little prayer
Okay,
as we
cool.
go into this. Yeah.
Because with my card spray, like I kind of did the protection part already as well, but I didn't do like the specific one. I always just like address my cards and ask them to guide me. And I found
Yeah.
that my readings have been more accurate if I do it. So I thought I'll reserve it for the recording because also it is something that I feel it's important to share. I'm the kind of person like sometimes I will have maybe controversial opinion, shall we say, or I will like go against the current or do things that some people will consider weird.
Yeah.
But
Why not?
but
Yeah, go against
I
the grain.
I wanna share this because I think it's important. Like if it works for you, and it's doing good for you, then I think it's important to put it out there.
Yeah.
So I open this space. I'm calling upon my guides, guardians, ancestors, and spirits. Come, grant me your wisdom in this reading. Grant me your protection and guide me. I'm calling upon Goddess Isis. Come and grant me your celestial wisdom and divine knowledge in this reading. Grant me to wisdom and grant me your protection. I'm calling upon my cards. Come, grant me your wisdom. Show me your teaching. Guide me. Be the messenger between the worlds and also protect me in the space. And the space is now open. And that's what I do. Just
Beautiful.
a little thing. I even have like a little singing bowl here
I love that. Yeah.
for ceremony, and that's it. So
So you connect with Isis. That's your
it's
deity you connect with.
my yeah.
I was gonna say I just gave an offering to Freya actually before we recorded. So
Oh, that's
I've
so
been
cool.
working with
Uh-huh.
her, feeling called to work with her a bit more recently.
When I don't always well, I don't really know how much difference there is between them. Like oftentimes I understand the gods to be kind of representative of forces in nature, like the sun, the sky, nature, la la la. And like
Mhm.
they could be translated across so many cultures, like Zeus could be Jupiter and blah blah blah.
Right,
um
like the planets. Yeah.
Initially when I was younger, I kind of started out like my paganism journey, kind of giving praise to Hecate,
Mm,
and then also Selene at one stage,
yeah, goddess of the
because
moon. Yeah.
name, like I have to have my girls back.
Yeah.
But Isis kind of came to me unexpectedly. I was doing past life regression because I had like some like Egyptian history. Um,
Mm,
and she came to me as being part of that journey. Like I understood Isis to have been incarnate rather than to have been like that force of nature.
mm,
Like so I don't know,
okay.
like it like kind of like an ascended master type of
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Hmm.
type of situation. And I don't know, ever since she came to me from that experience that I had, I've been working with her and she's been guiding me in my tarot cards. And
Oh, yeah, that's great.
yeah.
Yeah. You know from that past life, you've had that connection, so you're bringing that in.
Yeah,
So,
it's
yeah.
it's it's there. I mean, it wasn't very clear what I saw, but I understood that she was
Hmm.
involved, and then was just there was something. And
Yeah,
as a
something.
as a gag, I decided to give a prayer to her, and then suddenly, like instantly, my tarot readings were like spot on. It was just like bam, bam,
Mm,
bam, and I was like, okay,
wow, okay.
okay, she's here.
Yeah. Very cool. Okay, so she helps you through with your tarot readings.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, very cool.
it's very
Yeah, for
interesting.
myself personally, I haven't tapped into really anything like that. I mean, I do. connect with Artemis. Artemis and Apollo are I would say my main two, my main two deities, for sure. But I do feel connected to
Artemis,
like
the goddess of the
Aphrodite.
hunt.
Yes, yeah.
Ah.
And she's a protector of women and animals. So, and I love animals. We were talking about that before. But yeah, actually too, that's like the protection too, when you mentioned with Hecate too, with witches and everything. So it's very interesting with like the witch trials and reading about them. And I remember learning about them in school. I don't know if you did by any chance, if that was something really taught for you outside of
Briefly, but I'm an avid, passionate researcher of dark history and true crime. So whatever my school curriculum hasn't covered, I definitely discovered in my adult life through podcasts. So I don't remember much of it because it was actually a very long time ago. I did a deep dive on the Salem witches, but the kind of main keys, I guess. I want to understand whether there was actual, like actual witchcraft, shall we say, like were the actual like female healers misunderstood there, or was it like there's a theory that there was a hallucinogen mushroom on the grain that they used for bread, perhaps, that might have caused people to go a little bit crazy. It's the ergot, so that's the thing, because apparently, based on records from like weather conditions and soil conditions, like they found some records and they estimated that apparently the conditions could have been adequate for this mushroom to infect the grain that they were using to make bread.
And that's crazy that they could figure that out based on like the predictions of the weather.
Yeah, it was something to do with humidity. I don't remember exactly because I researched it a long time ago. Or was it really that strong prejudice and just finger pointing of people who were scared in a foreign land with that constant threat of, Native Americans kind of like threatening their existence in this new land that they have came to. Because
they were also Puritans too, with their religious
fanaticism,
beliefs. Yeah. So let's go into that then. How should we say? Were they really witches? Should we just go into that and focus in on that question, and then go into the others? However you wanna.
Yes. Were they really witches? I think that's a good start. And also like for conserving time, like I generally was working with the Celtic cross, but obviously I'm not doing Celtic cross today.
Those are fun though. Those are fun to do. Yeah.
What would you recommend to do? 1 or 3 cards, and how do you recommend that we spread them?
Let's just see what comes out. Let's do like 1 or 2 for each question, or if more comes out, then we'll just go with it. Because since we're both doing it together, I think it'll be interesting to compare our cards.
I'm fascinated to see that because I definitely had weird synchronicities with my shaman friend. I have a friend who's a shaman that I regularly go to visit for various things, but we had these weird synchronicities, like even as far as we like during some deep meditations that we've done, like we became partially telepathic. Like she was able to read from my energy things I have never told her, and vice versa. So like this is why I'm fully sold. I know that mumbo jumbo exists. I call it like that because I laugh at myself, but I live for it. I believe it. I've experienced some crazy things in my life, and I'm a seeker for truth, and I wonder, like I have trust that we probably will get very similar answers. Like I know I've been working with my guys and I've been doing similar readings, but not with cards specifically, but energy reading and all that kind of stuff. With my shaman
this will
friends.
be really fun too, because I normally just do personal readings for people. I never really go into stuff like this. So thank you for bringing me into this.
I'm so excited. I have a friend to do this with.
Me too. I am too. Yeah. I am, by the way. I'm using my cat tarot deck for these readings today.
Okay. Oh, I have the original Raider Way that I've been using for years. Like, I really think I should get new ones because these are probably like some of them are even a bit damaged, you know. Like sometimes I close my eyes
Yeah.
before pulling a card because I don't want to influence myself because like one of my cards is taped, you know.
Oh
Like
gosh,
when I
yeah.
see it now, I know which one it is. So for me, it's like I don't
Yeah.
want to cheat, so I just close my eyes, you know.
Yeah. I know it's hard to get rid of a deck and then yeah, have
Yeah.
to get a new one.
Salem, Massachusetts, really witches. And I normally try to employ numerology in my in my shuffling method. It's a bit wild. So I do like a 3 by 3. I will shuffle them 3 times. Then I will split them into 3 groups. I'll turn one around and I'll shuffle them 3 times more. So it's like it forms like
Ah,
a
I do
idea.
similar.
Yeah, it forms like a number 9 together. Um,
Mm.
because like a 3, 3, and 3. Oh, this one. Okay.
Were the Salem witches actually witches? That's our question we're focusing on. Yes. Were the Salem
And
witches?
let's pull one card and we will pull follow up if we need to see.
Were the Salem witches actually witches? Were they practicing witchcraft? Oh, something fell on the floor.
Oh, the fallout cards are normally very important. What fallout?
Okay, I got something. Queen of Cups is what I've just got come out here.
Oh, I love
That's
that design of the
interesting.
cards. It's so cool.
That's very feminine energy too,
Yeah. Let's
with the
see.
2 of Pentacles on the bottom.
And pentacle. Oh,
Maybe it was a bit of both. I think it was a bit of both.
it seems like it. Like maybe there was one of them who was, and then the suspicion went across many of them. Let me just pull one.
Yeah, I'll wait for you to see what you get.
Oh, it's in here. Okay, I feel it. Which one is it? Oh, it's this one. Okay. I got the 6 of Pentacles.
Mm. 6 of Pentacles there. Oh, there
Jeez,
we
my
go.
camera is
Yeah.
not great.
Oh, the brightness. There we go.
Oh, it's this one.
Yeah,
This
like a desperation.
yes, and it sort of gives me that intuitively gives me that message of a helper, like someone looking after the community. So
Yeah,
perhaps there
like a healer.
was, yeah, there was a healer there
Yeah.
who really was a witch. Okay.
Well, oh my gosh, Luna, look what I just got.
What
6
did you
of
get?
Pentacles.
6. I
I'm not
told you.
even
I
joking. It just came out.
told you.
Look at that. Wow. I've never done a
Synchronicity.
simultaneous reading like this before. And it led to death. Death is on the bottom of the deck.
Wait, what's on my bottom?
No way, you're kidding. I just got chills. That's crazy. We are
I
not
have
making this up.
goosebumps. What?
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 What does this mean?
Okay, Isis Spirit
Wow.
Grandma, thank you.
Okay.
Thank. Okay, YouTube. If
Isis
you
is
ever
helping you out.
needed
She's
a
helping me out
proof,
too.
this is recording. If you ever needed a proof, there
Wow.
you go, haters.
That is crazy.
We
We
pulled
have 2 different types of decks and got the same exact cards.
and in the same
Bottom
placement.
of the deck.
We pulled them out and at the bottom of the deck.
That is crazy. Okay. Well, so
It's
we
true.
really need to like say this message then. This
So-
is very important. Wow.
So it was
Yeah,
an
they were a
attempt of
healer.
help that led to death.
Yeah. I think because they were healers. It's like they didn't want them to help others because it was going against, I do feel like it, because it was going against the religion.
It was the Puritanism, yeah.
Yeah, that with that, yeah, the Puritan faith there, it was going against how they wanted to be the ones to do it. And it was like this, the feminine energy was coming in as this healer with this Queen of Cups, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very healing, very, yeah, intuitive energy. And they coming in there to help to heal. Wow. I never had this is a very literal death card.
It does. Like, I generally see it as a transformation, as a rebirth. But you
Yes.
know what? I was reading the Between Life and Death of Dolores Cannon.
Mm,
Spectacular lady, by the way. Like, really, if you want to
yeah,
get into some of her books.
love Dolores Cannon. Yeah.
Um, and she was saying like there is a she comes through to me a lot. I don't always know whether it's like a based information or intuition or a bit of both, but the way that I see it is just like the message that's coming through to me is that it was someone who was a worker, like a helper, someone who was trying to be of service, but also someone whose journey through their soul evolution was to experience that transformation,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Definitely.
Perhaps because like there's you see like the death always has that rising sun on the horizon. So like
Yes. Yeah.
I even
It
though
always
it could
brings
have
new
been,
beginnings.
yeah, even though it could have been literal death, I think that, as the cycle of life kind of keeps on turning, there is always that element of like you might die in one of your lives, because you're experiencing something hard, but it is the ultimate transformation that you're experiencing. I wonder what these
Yeah.
women, if it was more than one, or this woman, if it was one, um have gone on to become in her following incarnations, because I think like that was something that probably
Yeah.
really redeemed her soul, you know.
Mm-hmm. It was very terrible. It said most of them were hung. I think it
Yeah.
said 14 women and then 5 men were put to death. Most of them were hung. Some of them were tortured, though.
Mm,
Um,
can I see? I'd like to pull a card to see what has become of the soul who has become transformed. Oh, I have
in
sun
the
in
past,
reverse.
the sun. Okay. Oh, well, so it's like, how would you interpret that? Because I actually don't read reversals. I forgot to say.
Oh, oh,
How
okay.
would you read the reversal of the sun?
For me,
Because
a
it's usually very
reversal.
positive.
Yes, so reversal can have multiple ways to interpret. Like the way that I first go to reversals, I always think of them as internalizations of the meanings of the cards. If I'm
Mm,
reading them to someone, like sometimes it is like the opposite, or sometimes it's also an excess. So too much of a good
okay.
thing is not good anymore, you know?
Mm,
Um,
yeah.
this is the way that I see it, and I'm getting a message right now. It's something along the lines of the sun represents this like purity and childhood and the joy and eternal
Mm,
life and enlightenment through this like wisdom of this pure state of the soul, and even like that even the word pure state, the puritanism, it's
yeah.
almost like too much of that purity that these Puritans were trying to embody, and then
Mm,
that
yeah.
that enlightenment that the soul has received through the loss of the innocent intention of them wanting to help and be of service, and the lesson
Yeah.
that they've gotten from that about letting go,
Yeah.
you know?
Wow. Yeah, that's a really great parallel to make. Yeah, with the purity there, with the
Yeah.
Puritans. Yeah, I am curious, like what you were saying, yeah, about because, with the past life, it's like there's got to be those connections, ancestral connections. So what has come of those souls who have been connected to
Okay,
those witches
let's
or the
reshuffle and
women?
let's, yeah. So, question is, guides, guardians, ancestors, Isis, please guide me. Grant me wisdom which I may see. I would like to know what has become of the souls of the people who have lost their lives at the Salem witch trials in Salem, Massachusetts, USA. Please grant me your wisdom. We are trying a little bit, but we just would like to raise awareness if possible. What can you tell us? What has become of those souls?
Okay, I've got 6 of Swords. Moving away.
Yes. Yes,
onto...
leaving their familiar connections behind, familiar land.
Yeah.
Yes. And even like them themselves, they have been, away, like they have been settlers, from abroad.
That's right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. It's many of them too might feel in this life they might feel like they want to move away from this land. Well, when I say this land, from the United States, or away from that area because of the trauma there. So those the ancestor,
the suffering
from there.
lingers. Yeah.
I also get the sense though of, if you're familiar with Greek mythology, of like Chiron, the
wounded healer.
Karen, the one who's on the boat who guides the souls across from the underworld.
The Styx River, yeah.
On the Styx, yeah. And taking them into the next life too. So I'm kind of getting that parallel.
So
coming
yeah,
through.
and then is that also a sun imagery there in the distance on your card?
Yes, yeah.
It's sort of like the journey towards the inevitable happiness. It's like almost they were working through something karmic, perhaps.
Yeah, so towards something better. Yeah. I do get 7 of Wands too on the bottom. But if you have something, Luna, yeah, go ahead.
So I spread them out, and then because I have the all-seeing eye tattooed on my finger, so I use that to guide me. So it's always that finger that chooses the card. I just close my eyes, and when I get like an electricity surge, like a minor, like a twitch in my finger, and when I get it, I know that's the card.
That's the one. Very cool.
Okay, sometimes I like spread them not so good, so I take out the nearest cards and I see again. Is it this one? No. This one?
I got my Witch's Brew cup too.
It's this one. I got the sun again.
The sun again. Okay.
And I already asked the same question,
upside.
but now it's upside.
Right, or right side up, yeah.
And I did kind of jump to the sun on your card as well. There's something that they're trying to tell me through this imagery of the sun.
Yeah, they were cleansed from that traumatic experience.
Okay, let's see. What's underneath? Knight of Cups.
Knight of Cups.
A message. Could it be a message to the world about the dangers of ideological fanaticism?
Could be, yeah. I have the 7 of Wands, which is a little bit different, but I kind of get the sense of like they have to stand their guard, and it's kind of like if we think of us collectively having to stand our guard against all these negative things coming at us here, because they've went through that experience. They've learned to have to stand in their power.
Yeah.
But yours, though, I like what you're getting through with yours is like this more of a healing message coming through.
Yeah. Well, let me pull one more card. Oh. And then end of a cycle. I got the 10 of Wands.
10 of Wands. Okay.
Just you remember what I said about the karmic? It's almost like that. It's like almost like that purification. Could be they were working something karmically out.
Yeah.
Could be, because like then there's all these lessons. They are giving a message to the world. They are getting purified and returned to a childlike state in both shape, like both the Puritans with too much of their like purity, and then like themselves by being killed being purified through whatever it is that they brought in. So it was karmic. It makes sense to me that it was a karmic situation.
And I will say too, I think on the other side of that, it was also karmic for the people who
Of
put
course,
them to
yeah.
death. Because I did have the King of Pentacles came out just now for me,
Oh,
and I feel this is more coming through. And then Death was under that. I had a few cards come out under it, but I feel like it's coming through from this, from a church leader. I'm getting more of
yes,
that
an
kind of vibe.
authoritarian figure, yeah.
Yeah.
Do we know what has happened to the person in authority following the trials?
I don't know actually. Do you?
Let me do a what happened to the Puritan leader after Salem witch trials? William Stoughton? Is it him? I don't remember the names. Aftermath. Last trial was held in May 1693. Survivors' family members sought to establish innocence of the individuals who were convicted and to gain compensation. The following centuries, the descendants of those unjustly accused and condemned have sought to honor their memories.
Oh, was it? It was Samuel Paris, I believe, the Reverend, because his daughters were the ones who started accusing.
Oh, Samuel, what's his last name?
Paris with 2 R's.
Paris.
Yeah, he was a Reverend, and it was his daughter and niece who began to have the weird behaviors with the convulsions, and then that's what led to these trials happening in 1692. By the way, I'm gonna just show the astrology chart for this as well, really quick.
His wife died in 1696. In 1699, he remarried, returned to preach for 2-3 years. He then moved to Concord. He also preached for 6 months. He died February 1720.
Yeah, here's the chart, by the way,
Oh,
for
very
the
square.
trials. This was I just put, it didn't have an exact date, so I just put February.
And there's Algol present, I see
1st.
as well.
Yeah, 1692. That was the start of the trials, and there's a T-square with Algol and the nodes. And Algol has to do with the head and injuries to the head.
And they were hanged.
They were hung. Most of them were hung. So
oh no.
there you go. Yeah.
And then there's is that a square with the Virgo? Is that a Virgo? Or is that a lion, Leo? Which one is this?
Oh, sorry, with Jupiter, this?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a square to the midheaven with Jupiter.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's this one to Uranus and Gemini, making a square to, is that Lilith, I think, too? That's interesting. Oh. Yeah, Lilith was in Pisces. And, Lilith can have to do with, the dark feminine. So, of course, witchcraft and things.
But also Pisces, the two natures of a being, no? Like the bright side, the dark side. So it's like almost like they didn't even have to embody like the being a witch. That it could have been placed on them. It's like that second identity that is ensembled by Pisces, no?
Yeah. Definitely. And that with Uranus being in Gemini too, it was retrograde also. So I feel like it's almost like this miscommunication that was going on, obviously, with them, with the lies kind of happening and deception with that square.
Wow.
So I just thought that was interesting.
This is some serious stuff, isn't it?
Show the astrology, yeah.
Wow. You guys, we're doing
That was
magic
so cool though
today.
to see our cards having that. That was really cool. I had
I
chills
mean,
with that.
the cards synchronizing and then like all the information pulling through. And even like my card, I got the same one twice, you know? It's like
Yeah, that
there's
was crazy.
magic
That
in the
was
air.
very magical. Do you want to close this reading and then go into what
Jack
you
the
were
Ripper.
looking at with Jack the Ripper?
Sure. So we are very grateful for the information we have received about Salem witch trials. We shall let those ladies go now. Thank you so much for granting us an insight into your story. We commemorate you, we honor you, and we wish you peace.
Yes, I just want to send out again, yes, peace to those who were lost in those trials. Oh, you got your singing bowl.
Yeah, I don't have a stick, so I just hit it with my pen.
Oh, nice. There you go.
But I also have a quartz inside that I kind of place on the bottom of the bowl, and I let the quartz resonate with the singing bowl. And I don't know, maybe if
Oh,
it does anything, I think it does. So
that's kind of like you just intuitively put it there. Yeah.
yeah, I was like, it belongs in the bowl. What shall we ask about Jack? Oh, so Jack the Ripper. Oh my God, I've seen a story on TikTok. There was this girl who she said that she began her journey wanting to create a conspiracy theory so outrageous that that it would be believable. But she actually ended up discovering details about this that ended up convincing her herself that her conspiracy that she wanted to invent actually she thinks now is true. So she's a I think she's an art student.
Okay.
Hopefully I'll find the link to her and I'll post it down below the Jack the Ripper conspiracy. So Jack the Ripper was never found. He was primarily a serial killer active in London in I think the late 1800s. I don't remember exactly the dates. I'm very bad with that. But
Yeah,
he
somewhere
was
there.
primarily focused on murdering prostitutes, women of the night,
Yes.
entrepreneurs, entrepreneurial women. He had a deep-seated hatred for them. There was a true modern analysis of his MO determined that he hated women. He probably had an overbearing motherly figure because of how he focused on that, and also that he was medically trained, but was not a surgeon. So someone who had awareness of human anatomy, but did not have a steady hand. So this woman suggested that an artist at the time called Degas could be a candidate for him, and she just like pulled him out because he was like, okay, he lived in the same time, he hung around similar circles, but then the more and also he was pretty a dark artist, but the more she went into it, the more she became convinced that he really was Jack the Ripper, because not only is he present in London. Degas was originally a Frenchman, but he was present in London in the times that the murders were committed. He would have an awareness of human anatomy because all artists at that time were trained with human anatomy in public dissections of the human body to learn, like for sculpting and for painting. So artists at that time would be actually taking part in dissections as well. It's pretty morbid.
Oh, wow. I would have hated to be an artist at that time.
Yeah, and also he has like no alibi for when the murders were committed. I think like one notable murder was committed. He said that he left for south of France, but it was not really verified by anyone that he went for south of France. So he very easily could have gotten on the train and went to London.
Yeah.
In that time.
Fair.
And honestly, she does a great way explaining this because, again, it was a while since I heard that theory. But I thought since it's Halloween, let's see, was the guy Jack the Ripper?
Okay, wow. That's a good theory. I never heard of this until when we were emailing. about that. So that is interesting. Yeah. I didn't realize too that artists had to participate in dissections. I mean, I went to,
Apparently, yeah.
yeah, like I did art classes in university and we did, figure drawing and stuff, but not to that extent where you have to
I'm not sure 100% if they participated or if they like just closely inspected while it was
observe.
done. But
Sure.
yeah, like they were present. That's what I know.
Yeah, if you would like to start it off, Luna, because I feel like this is really your forte with, I know
Oh,
you like the true crime stuff like this. I just want to put it out there too, though, before we go into it, that we are not channeling
yeah.
this person himself. We don't want any of that
Channels
negative
closed.
energy.
No entry
Yeah, it's
allowed.
closed. It's not present. Not
Yeah.
welcome here in our
Or he's
space.
gonna get his spirit ass whooped. So
Yeah, we we have our deities to protect us and angels
okay.
too.
So guides, guardians, ancestors, and Isis, protect me as I seek for this information and close all channels. Don't allow that this spirit can get through in any way or shape or form. We are just looking for information from higher spirit guides and beings of love. We are only connecting to beings of love in search for academic wisdom and knowledge, and to soothe the morbid curiosity of those of us who are alive and curious.
And so it be.
So it be. It's also a way to share the message of this great craft we are doing. So let's do this. All right. I'm pulling these cards. Was the guy Jack the Ripper? Let's see. Guide
How do you pronounce
me.
his name?
Dega. Dega?
Oh,
Dega? Let me.
Degas.
Uh,
Was he Jack
Edgar.
asking
Edgar
higher
Degas.
self? Asking my higher self.
Was Edgar Degas Jack the Ripper?
I'll let you go first, Luna.
Yes. Sorry, I think my shuffling takes more time. I'm
Oh, it's okay.
very
Don't rush.
ceremonious with my
No,
with
no
my
rush. No rush
shuffling.
at all. You're okay.
uh, okay. Was Edgar Degas Jack the Ripper? Yes, so from 1834 till 1917. Protect me and guide me. Was Edgar Degas Jack the Ripper? I touched something here. It's one of those. Oh, it's this one. Ooh, I got a shiver.
What do you have
Got
there? Two of
two of
wands.
wands.
Okay.
Interesting. Two countries, France, England, looking to the world. He would be traveling from Paris to England.
Okay.
Or it could also mean keep looking.
So I drew two cards. I got King of Swords, and I also got the Four of Cups. I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting a rejection.
Mm-hmm.
I am getting like blocked. It's blocked.
Yeah,
I'm getting blocked
when I
energy.
pulled this, the first thing I kind of like heard was keep looking. Like
Yeah.
keep seeing. So I
But
guess the
what's
guy
interesting,
was
I do
not.
have.
Uh-huh.
Oh, sorry. Were you gonna say
No,
something?
no. Tell me.
I was gonna say that what's interesting on the bottom of the deck, I do have King of Pentacles. I feel like this guy feels like him.
In all fairness, the guy was a very dark figure himself. He disdained humanity. He was very antisocial, and I think he caused up a little bit of stir. So maybe it's just a confirmation to the fact that he was also not a great person.
True. That's true. Yeah. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling that it's more that there's someone, the one who was actually Jack the Ripper, someone who had money for sure, or
Ooh,
a
yeah.
business, in a higher up position.
A rich
You,
aristocrat who disdained women. That fits his MO. Actually, I'm gonna
yeah,
do a cross, like a simple cross, to see who he was.
sure. Okay. Yeah,
Okay, guides,
that's a great idea.
guardians,
Yeah, go ahead.
ancestors, goddess Isis, grant me the wisdom and information about Jack the Ripper. We're gonna pull across. Please give me information about who he was, and do not open any channels to his soul. Thank you. Yours truly. Sometimes I laugh with my spirits. Like I'm
I
always
love it.
respectful, but I believe
Yeah,
in the art of casual conversation.
yeah. No, I agree. You gotta
Sometimes
be yourself.
yeah. Sometimes I sit here and like I read cards, like I'm asking them for things, and I get messages from them, and this is like so blatantly in your face obvious, like they'll just slap me with a piece of advice that I already knew what I have to do, but I'm just
Yeah,
pretending to not know because it's hard to do the hard things sometimes.
yeah.
And I'll be like sitting here fully on laughing to myself with the spirits.
The tarot can be very blunt sometimes.
Yeah.
It can be very blunt. That's what the nice thing is too with oracle cards. So if we have time, I do have an oracle card set we can do
Ooh.
later too for the end if there's time.
Okay, so who was Jack the Ripper? Okay, we're turning these ones around. Okay. Who was Jack the Ripper? Who was Jack the Ripper? We're gonna do a cross. Who was Jack the Ripper? All right. Now guide me. Mm, it's here.
Mm.
Okay. Oh, the moon.
Very deceptive,
Mm-hmm.
hidden shadiness. Okay.
Also, I always get from the moon like the feeling of something unattainable. Like the
Mm,
dogs howling at the moon, like they can never get
yeah.
there. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
it's very much like the kind of message like small dog barks a lot of insecurity, a lot of
Yeah.
repressed things.
Mm.
Um, it also has been said that potentially he might have suffered from impotence issues or
Mm.
had a small
Yeah.
you know what
Yeah.
and it caused him to kind of rebel against women in that way because he was unable to perform, and especially that's why he
Mm.
targeted women of the night.
Why? Right. Because why the prostitutes? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So
think there's something there with that.
a knight of wands crosses the moon.
Okay. Yeah. Knight of Wands is very cocky.
Yes, yes. So it's definitely like that fiery, almost like I'm getting rage here. Like I'm getting fire and rage, like that rage that that
Maybe because of what you just said too.
frustration. Yeah, that
Like
frustration about
sexual
this.
frustration. Like the moon, you think of the moon too, like the mother, if there was something
Hmm.
with the
And it
mother that
is a
was going on.
feminine object.
Yeah.
And also like the dogs in the moon being present, like that imagery of that like savage that savageness, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's the Scorpio, and Scorpio carries that deceptive poisonous energy, so there's a lot of poison
Yeah.
in there. So, and his past is the reverse, actually the Page of Cups in reverse. So this for me
Oh.
is like a typical reversal. It's the negative meaning, where the Page of Cups is normally very playful, joyful, and carefree. It was anything but that, but this. That's what I'm getting
Yeah.
from that.
Yeah.
Also the sea wavering emotions. Then it led him it led him to the Four of Swords in reverse. This,
Mm.
for me, it always carries an almost like death almost, but
Yeah,
especially
it's
in
because
reverse,
it's
because it
very
looks like
morbid.
it looks like he's falling onto the swords. I think he has met a tragic end,
Hmm.
because it looks
Right.
like, because it's in reverse.
Right.
So
Yeah.
the imagery here kind of stands out to me, that it looks like he's falling onto the swords.
Yeah. Like his own swords. Like he's fallen
Yeah,
onto from
but
his
he was
own
never caught. I
doing.
wonder. I wonder what happened to him.
Hmm.
So, what led his life? Oof. It's the Ten of Cups in reverse. Again, so
Wow.
unhappiness in his family.
Yeah.
And then what motivated him? Oh, yeah, it was his mom.
What's that there?
Reverse Queen of Cups.
Ah, yeah.
It was his
There,
mom.
there was a mother wound for sure, especially with
Yeah.
that and the moon card. Definitely a huge mother wound.
What happened to him?
Hmm.
Uh, Queen of Pentacles.
Do you think one of the prostitutes could have got revenge on him, or a woman?
Hey, it could be, because it's like he was sort of like wielding a sword, and there's even like the sword here behind him, but he fell onto a sword, and a working woman,
Right? Because with the pentacles, yeah, it's like
right?
it was like his own demise. Yeah,
Right? So
interesting. I
it
hope
could.
that's what it is, actually.
I hope a prostitute got him. Oh my God,
Not to put my
girl.
own bias in it, but
No, I mean,
that
it
would,
makes total sense. Like he fell onto his own swords, because like it actually makes sense. Like the sword behind him, like his sword, and then he falls onto a sword. It,
yeah, like his plan he was trying to carry out didn't come to
yeah.
fruition with one
And
of
then it's
them.
like four is normally like the number of stability and foundation. But here it's
Right?
like
Yeah.
one removed and falling onto three. So it's like, and the three being the
Mm,
number of creation, he created his own downfall almost.
yeah, yeah. Wow.
Wow.
I think you're right on with that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So sad family life. His mother messed him up, and the prostitute killed him. Cool. I like that.
Ooh. Wow.
Karma
How's
happened.
that? Well, there's our theory for this. That was really good, Luna. I wanted you to just, yeah, I wanted to see what you got with that. Because
No,
yeah,
I
I just
I love this.
yeah, that was really cool. Really interesting. I do get the feeling too that he was kind of this
Uh-huh.
um
A rich guy.
character here. Yeah. It kind of feels dark too in this deck,
Mm-hmm.
this King of Pentacles. So
He
yeah,
does. Do you
yeah.
want to both pull cards to see if his victims found peace?
Yeah, let's see that. I would like to, yeah. And we could just send out a little peaceful prayer to them after, I think would be really
Yeah.
nice to do too.
All right.
I'm just gonna shuffle them.
So guides, guardians,
Yeah.
ancestors, Isis, have the victims of Jack the Ripper found their peace? Are they at peace now? Please let us know.
And then now at peace. Have those souls found peace? Have those souls found peace?
Are they in peace now? Those poor working women.
Oh. Let's see. Oh, my camera's moving with me again. Okay, I got 2 cards.
Oh, it's this one. Sometimes, like, I will be turning my my cards without thinking, and I'm normally like, okay, if I don't realize I have to check which one I have to turn, because I have like 3 groups, yeah. Then I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
it was the one I chose. But sometimes I'll catch myself midway through it, and it's like, no.
You're like, wait. Yeah.
It's Johnny, the other one. Okay. Have the victims of Jack the Ripper found their peace? Have the victims of Jack the Ripper found their peace? Have the victims of Jack the Ripper found the peace? All right. What did you get?
So I got Queen of Swords, and then the Page of Cups also came out with that.
Oh,
So it does, with the
nurturing energy.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's
And
kind of
I had both
paradoxal.
of these cards as well when I was pulling his reading.
Oh, really?
I had them in reverse.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
The Queen?
I had the Queen
Okay.
as the mother who messed him up.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, maybe that's that mother coming in to, I feel like she's like seeking justice here. She's
Yeah.
kind of coming in. It's like she has to stand up. She's standing up for herself, but then the Page of Cups is kind of bringing like this nice healing
Yeah.
energy
I
to
mean,
it
it
at the
doesn't
same
even
time.
have to be his mother particularly. It could be just that
Yeah.
the victims themselves found solace through the nurturing of that energy, of that motherly energy.
Yeah, yeah, and
You know, the
their
very
own,
thing that
they
drove him to
probably
commit the
were.
murder has
Mhm.
given redemption to the women who were murdered.
Yeah, and those prostitutes were probably, most of them were probably mothers too. So and the page feels very childlike. So it's almost kind of
Yeah.
like they're avenging the fact that they abandoned their kids
Their
or
children.
child
Yeah.
because they were killed. Yeah. So I feel like there's a sense of maybe in their next life here, getting that chance again
Yeah. Yeah,
with
could
their
be.
children because they didn't get to connect with them. They were robbed of it. Because the Seven of
Yeah,
Cups I
and
got on
even
the bottom.
the way that they were positioned is like the mother was looking away from the child, so it was just like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
oppositional energy. Yeah.
I feel like justice was served.
Yeah.
Like I'm getting something with like justice was
Yeah.
served
Yeah, he got what was coming
on
to him.
behalf of them. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if it was a bunch of prostitutes that banded together. Maybe they
Maybe
lured him out because
maybe it was
prostitutes in
3.
London were wild in those days.
Yeah. Maybe it was 3 of them because you had the 4 of Swords, but the 3 that he fell onto. So maybe
Could
it was 3.
be. It
So
could
it could have been
be.
multiple women.
Or
Yeah.
it could have been a prostitute and the children of the ones who got murdered. Because it's
Mm,
like almost like the children also getting the revenge through that.
maybe.
Perhaps.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. Yeah, that could be possible. I think that might
Yeah.
be something there. Maybe one of the children, especially if she was a female, maybe
Yeah.
when she grew up
Because
a little bit more as
yeah.
time went past, she kind of stepped into that role to avenge her mother.
Yeah.
I think there could be something there with that. And it kind of is healing the mother because that was part of his problem, right? Was the mother wound.
Yeah.
So that was also
But
healing
then
the
that
mother.
would be their karmic contract, you know. She could have agreed to be in that situation. Maybe they needed that healing for whatever reason.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, let me see.
Yeah, let's see what
Have
you
the
got.
victims of Jack the Ripper found their peace? Oh, it's here. Okay. It's normally like I literally just get like a little tingling feeling.
Mm.
Mhm.
That's cool how you do it. So you'll go based off of
Oh,
your feeling.
it's here. Oof. Yeah,
Oh,
whatever
Wheel of
happened had to
Fortune.
happen.
Yeah.
Okay. So it definitely feeds into that idea that justice was served.
Yeah, I would
And
say so.
even the
Yeah.
fortune turning against him,
Yeah. It
he was only
turned away
fortunate.
from him
Yeah.
and in their favor.
Okay, so have they found their peace? Oh,
Mm.
King of Cups.
King of Cups. Okay. So we have the Page of Cups and the King
And
of
we got the
Cups.
Queen. Yeah,
Hmm.
the entire House of Cups.
We got
Royal
a
House of
family.
Cups. Yeah. Okay, yeah. It definitely happened. Like, and that, especially with the king, there's that wavering sea, so that wavering of emotions, So like
Hmm.
the turbulent time of the loss and the suffering that they suffered as a consequence of the loss of life that has happened, but then the
Yeah.
ultimate nurturing and revenge and healing of that has also occurred.
Hmm.
So like I think that whatever cycles were happening at that
Yeah.
time are like long done, like it's already been done, sorted and straightened out in the larger karmic karmic scenario.
Yeah, especially with that Wheel of Fortune,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, it feels like justice was served, and so that healing could be ushered in here. And I also feel with your King of Cups, it also feels like the divine masculine, the actual healthy, real masculine kind of coming
Mm-hmm.
in to help heal them on behalf of the very dark, wounded masculine of Jack the Ripper. So
Yes,
that's coming
yes, yes,
through.
yes.
Kind of coming to, because we're getting a lot of dark feminine themes with both the readings,
Mm-hmm.
right? So because it's dealing with a lot of that feminine energy, so I feel like that masculine energy is kind of coming in as like almost to say sorry
Yeah.
on behalf of the feminine that had to step up and come in and serve justice.
Yeah, and there is also a lot of that, like at least that's what I'm getting is reminders about karma, like everything
Yeah.
happens the way it has to happen, even though if we don't understand it from our human perspective, like sometimes it just seems so vicious and unfair that these tragic things happen, but really we don't know what happens on that higher level, what kind of contracts and
Mhm.
deals are being made between souls, like what horrific experiences have to be experienced in order for certain karma to be cleansed out. I'm definitely getting that both with the Wheel of Fortune and then the previous one.
Mhm.
Well, there was something with the Salem witches as well that was like karmic. They were
Mhm.
redeeming something.
I was going to ask you, what do
Uh-huh.
you think though about, when we talk about, because I talk about a lot of that too with the karmic stuff, but do you think sometimes it's not always that? Sometimes it's just, sometimes there's very, how can I say, sometimes there's just really evil, bad souls that just come in and just, you know, but
That's
what are your thoughts on that? Because I mean, that was just what I was thinking is, what if, it's, like he might have been attached with an entity or something and fed into that. And
mm,
it wasn't even anything to do karmically, but he was, you know, following a very dark path from something that was maybe attached to him, or his soul
mm-hmm.
itself was very dark, or from a lower level. I
You know
think sometimes
what?
that can happen.
Yeah, I think everything's possible. That's
Yeah,
that's the
yeah,
start. The
for
start
sure.
of
Yeah.
universe is everything can be and therefore is.
Mhm.
But my belief, because I think that the fundamental of this question is, do I believe in evil? And yes, to an extent, but my belief has been really redefined at different pivotal steps of my life because I'm a huge believer that bad things happen for a reason. And it's really hard to say that when very bad things happen. Like, how do you say
Sure.
to a mother who lost her child that this has happened for a reason? Now think about light, like, no,
Yeah,
it's
yeah, of
like,
course.
go F
Yeah.
yourself, like, no.
Hmm.
You can't do that. And these are really real emotions, but it's The way I see it, it's more like what happened to that proverbial mother who, maybe 10 years down the line has established a support service for parents with similar experiences. What has happened to
Mm.
the girl who has fallen to drug addiction and almost died, killing herself, who 10 years down the line has stepped up in AA and is now helping other addicts recover. Like I always
Yeah.
try to look at it from that perspective. Like bad things, they either are redeeming something that we have done that we have to like kind of atone for, shall we say. I don't like the word atonement because this is again like a kind of a religious concept. I don't think that we are
Yeah.
evil for getting born. I'm sorry, Catholic Church.
Yeah.
We are alive and therefore we have the right to be alive.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. That's like the
uh
Puritans, I think, too. Going back
yeah.
to them.
But I believe in reincarnation. I believe in the soul's journey, and we don't ever really know the full story for what we have to atone
Yeah.
for. And I do believe in the contracts that we make with other people, and in life everything has to get experienced. But so by that nature, it's like this is where I'm always very hesitant about like the concept of God, because to me God is everything, and in God everything is, and everything that can happen, had happened, might happen, or happen differently has to be and have its
Hmm.
outlet. So it's like a collection of experiences of every infinite kind. um
Hmm.
and therefore that means every infinitely bad experience also has its place there. um
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah. It's
kind
all
of
part
just
of
like,
the polarity with it. Yeah.
yeah, so it's just like, I don't know, it's so hard to get these concepts together sometimes, but um
No,
it's
yeah,
like,
it's just something that you just always think about, we might not ever know the truth anyways.
yeah, I mean, I try to look at it as a teacher, every bad thing that has ever happened to me, and I had a pretty messed up life. But you know what, about things like the evil spirits kind of like coming to lead a person on.
Mm,
I read an interesting thing, in again Dolores Cannon was writing about this in one of her books, where she was regressing people into the state between life and death, and then talking to astral guides about
mm,
the nature of life, and
yeah.
they went into the topic of like demonic possession.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that really interesting, especially as a person who has had an experience of being perpetrated by a not so nice entity in the past.
Mm,
I Because she said that like good and bad agents exist, and they carry like positive or negative energy, but they actually don't work against each another. They work together for different reasons. It's just what defines them as being good or bad is the way in which they engage to carry out that teaching. But
mm,
they are still a higher being, so they still work for a higher purpose. So sometimes it might happen that when you're really not hearing the thing that you need to hear and the thing that you need to learn, they might send a bad guy in to roughen you up a little bit to make you tougher.
mm. To
And
teach you the lesson. Yeah.
and it's like a little bit of like a heavy-handed way to teach. Um,
Yeah.
and I kind of looked back at it because my experience with my entity was just like I had never felt threatened by my entity.
Mm-hmm.
Never had like a malevolent experience with it. Like I became infatuated with it to an unhealthy way, and became an unhealthy relationship, and then I had to learn to let it go. But even like that entire journey of
Mm-hmm.
overcoming that, it was almost like the entity embodied my attachment problems that I had from like my father have left when I was quite early on. There was like a very
Yeah.
traumatic situation that
Patterns.
happened, um, and
Yeah.
overcoming my aversion to men, and overcoming my relationship trauma, and overcoming my attachment issues, it almost like it became embodied in this entity who showed up and toyed with
Mm-hmm.
me. And then
Yeah.
through me overcoming that entity through wisdom and, oh, sorry, a true wisdom. And so there's a fly here and I
Little
can't
fly
get
coming
it.
in.
Yeah. Um,
A fly entity coming in.
yeah. But through of learning how to overcome that and let that go, I was also able to transform my ability to live in a relationship. Like I'm married, and honestly, like since I've let go of that entity, it's only like an upward slope in my
Yeah,
relationship. It really
yeah.
translates. So even that, like, it was something dark and sinister and scary that has happened, but it still ended up like teaching me something so good and positive and giving me some strength.
It's yeah, it
Yeah,
sounds cliche, but it's made you stronger and you know who you are in a way. So,
yeah,
and but I think that's the important thing is that you did, you know, learn to detach from it because like for example, if Jack the Ripper or somebody like him, because he's unable to heal that mother wound, but it obviously this is a very extreme level. So yeah, it's very interesting, yeah, how that can play out.
just to say this quickly, because I think like especially when we are talking about extreme examples of
Yes,
where
yeah, very
like
extreme.
twisting of energy can lead to really drastic consequences. Dolores Cannon also talked about the man himself. She talked about Adolf and how
Mm,
he became this person. Like if all souls are light and if we are all this love energy, then how can someone like him come along and
right, exactly.
murder millions of people in a
Yeah,
concentration camp? How can this happen?
yeah.
And
I
the mess.
personally just think he was pure evil. Like just or if there was again
Yeah.
maybe entity, detachment, possession, who knows? I
And
just
this
think
is
there are
where
some
I
dark souls.
like the view of Dolores Cannon and the teachings of her books, because it's
Mhm.
almost like we're not trying to justify anything that happened.
No,
It's
no,
not
absolutely.
about that. It's about understanding the nature of human soul and understanding that no one starts out evil.
Of
Like
course. Yes,
like it's
absolutely.
it's it's not that. Like for him, they were said that it was the fact of the abuse in his family and his
Yeah.
father cutting him off from his like creative force that became so intensely energized that the energy became twisted and he became this dictator. But actually, like
Hmm.
the atrocities that were only committed because there were already a lot of people who were suffering at that time after the consequences of World War I, with a lot of twisted energy within themselves, like the officers inside of those concentration camps, the ones who were pulling
Yeah.
the levers and the ones who were actually doing the actual shooting, because Hitler himself, he never really killed anyone. Like he
Yeah.
was the
Yeah.
orchestrator and he made it possible.
He yeah. Well,
But
he
there
had
was,
people do it for him.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, but it was
Yeah.
also a lot of all these other people who were in a similar situation where they experienced something traumatic and painful that led them to commit these atrocities. They all needed the scapegoat that became, unfortunately, the Jewish people. um
Yeah.
and it's very sad, but I think that it helps us to kind of understand that when people are lashing out, they are lashing out in pain. And I think it's a very valuable lesson in compassion.
Yeah, on a surface level, I think, yeah, it all goes back to childhood, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, with I read a lot about Jungian psychology, you know, Carl Jung and the Dark Night of the Soul and all that. And um, I'm reading a book actually on trauma. I forget the author's name now,
Hmm.
but he's basically he's following Carl Jung's works and teachings. And yeah, it all just goes back to childhood. It really does. It's crazy how it can just, you know, and obviously it can go one extreme or, you know, some people you can, you know, work through it. You know, people like us, we get like a crazy thing happen
Yeah.
with an entity just coming in, like, you know, but then you work through those things. Maybe we should, in a separate video, maybe, you know, we could talk about this later, but maybe we could talk more about our experience with that
Sure.
and maybe to help other people who might be having
Sure.
challenges with that and try to work through it.
I mean,
Oh.
that's why I started this series. I mean, I love this. I don't have reservations about talking about anything anymore, really. Like, I just want to put it all out there because I believe in the value of sharing
Mm.
information. It's not going to resonate with everyone. Like, there might be a person there who's having a bad day and they're gonna take it out on me, by calling me fat and ugly and whatever. I don't care. Like,
Oh,
there
yeah.
might be that one person out of the 200 haters who will listen to our recording
Hmm.
and are gonna say, "Oh my God, I need to get myself into a healing center," or "I'm so lost, I need to get myself a tarot card deck," and then join a
Yeah. Yeah.
community and all that. Like, for me, it was the
Mhm.
same. Like, I was so lost at some times in my life, and
Yeah, yeah, that's actually me being lost
yeah.
was what led me to doing tarot and just getting in touch with my spirituality because I kind of without going too much on a rant here, but I just kind of fell off of my spiritual path at that time in my life. I was going through health problems and then it kind of kicked my butt and back into the direction I needed to go in. And now I still like just with our reading today, that I get those crazy surprises that I'm like, oh yeah, I know what I'm doing here
Yeah,
with my
it was wild.
intuition. And you need those, yeah, yeah, you need those confirmations sometimes in the work you do and with the readings or, whether it's just, for your own, spiritual um fulfillment, of course, too. Now, did you want to go into kind of
Oh,
speaking about these darker
yeah, I'm curious because I
people with
think that
the
a lot of
celebrities like
people,
P Diddy?
yeah, I think a lot of people will find this interesting. Like, that's because like we're starting out, and as well, like I'm not gonna hide, I want my channel to grow, So if it's a bit
Yeah,
clickbaity, it's a bit clickbaity, but we
a
mean
little
well,
bit, yeah.
like it's okay.
But it's
But
it's all connected though, yeah,
it's
with what's going on.
interesting because I mean, like this thing with P Diddy has happened now, and he's being persecuted for this violence. And for years and years and years, conspiracy theories have been saying about this Kabbalistic underground
Mm-hmm.
cabal of celebrities with tunnels underground, child trafficking in the name of chaos god Moloch. That's what I heard. So this is like going very far, yeah? A
Yeah,
conspiracy.
yeah.
I don't buy
And
into it that far, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
yeah, well, I personally, I would people would if people really knew my thoughts, they would call me a conspiracy theorist for sure. Yeah. I do unfortunately like this time right now with Samhain and Halloween. It's one of my favorite holidays, but I do think unfortunately there are really bad people who use it for dark purposes. So, I mean, I think a lot of these people, these dark elites, the cabal, whatever you want to call them, Illuminati is like another popular term to use, but I think they do follow these certain rituals and alignments. And I love astrology, and I think it can be so helpful and useful. But I do think there's something there, with maybe them using it, for darker purposes. Because when you talk about too magic, there's both light and dark magic that you can tap into. Um, but I do believe in the laws of karma, so I just feel like, whatever you're
Hmm.
putting out, it's going to come back to, bite you, so to speak. And I mean, we're seeing now with P. Diddy and these other celebrities' names, I think, are going to come out. The Epstein list, everyone's like, release the names, And it's like, yeah, like let's see them because I think a lot of these celebrities and higher up figures, I think they're scared right now. I do
And they
really
should be.
think they're, yeah, as they should be. Yeah. I've seen with the astrology when we had Pluto retrograde lasting, that was really bringing up a lot of these themes with, the celebrities like P. Diddy, for example. That was the biggest one. There was somebody else actually, who was it now recently? Guy from Abercrombie and Fitch, if you remember that. It was a
Oh,
really
there was
popular clothing
something.
brand.
Yeah, 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 yeah. What happened
So
to him?
Fitch, the guy Fitch, he was like one of the founders of this clothing brand. It was very popular among teens. He just got found out too. that he was trafficking these teen boys because they used a lot of teen models. So, and they were kind of coerced into really, nasty things, unfortunately. But it's all coming out now, and I think this is Pluto's way, the energy of the planet's way of bringing these things out. And like I was saying with that alignment too, with the pentagram or the castle, it's like spiritual warfare is at play.
It
And
is.
it's coming to a head here, and these things are coming out, and I think we're gonna see, this is just my own personal prediction, I think we're gonna see more names, more things coming out.
Hopefully.
And I hope, if anything, my hope is that it just brings more awareness to, I think, one of the biggest problems, and which I do feel is, trafficking. Unfortunately, in the world, it's very sad. Just, all around the world, it happens, but it does seem to be a huge problem in the United States. And just these issues, that these celebrities and people with money that just feel like they can get away and keep getting away from these things. And as Pluto shifts into Aquarius, talking more astrologically again, I think as it finishes up its time in Capricorn, who really rules karma with Saturn, these karmic things are getting tied up now. So as we shift now into Aquarius, which is very freeing and freedom loving and getting all these things out there. So changes, definitely coming. And I do think it has to get worse before it gets better, in my opinion. So I think that's why things feel very tense right now. But I think things on the positive note will start to get better as we go through these things.
But would you say that it's like as deliberate as some like wild conspiracy theories say, that like they're really like meeting in dark robes and tunnels underground, making sacrifice, drinking blood, and all that kind of stuff? Like, would you say it's
vampires,
that far?
I think some could be. I mean, I don't know for sure if that's the case with celebrities. But when it comes to that stuff, though, I do think it's possible. I mean, we have extremes. On one end, we have the very love and light type of community. So maybe there's a very polar opposite, that's happening.
But do you reckon it has much impact? Because I always find it so confusing that if everything in life is ultimately love and light, then isn't it like they're them performing all these rituals, it's like they're almost like hurting themselves by doing it?
Well, that's the problem, is they're getting a temporary, I feel like they're getting a temporary satisfaction out of it, fame, wealth, whatever, whatever the price they're paying, whatever they're trying to achieve. It's only very temporary. Hear about in the music industry, like selling your soul, it's like, well, it's temporary, right? Because then
because like your soul is yours.
Going
can you really sell your soul? Like that's a whole other thing. Is it even possible? Like, can you even do it? Like, I think it's just like you literally just sell your life, like this lifetime, but then you die, you're released back into the universe, and then you have to deal with all of that karma. Like,
right. So it's like, what happens then to your soul after that? So you're going somewhere, or you're not.
I don't think anything happens. I think you're just released and you're like, oh, Jesus Christ. It's like you get released and you just cringe at yourself. You're like, oh my God.
Or just really really bad karma in the next life, maybe.
Then you have to own up to it. I always feel so fascinated by people, because for me, then it came up on a reading, like I always felt like an alien in this world. I kind of come here and I'm observing these humans going around doing weird things, and I'm like, I don't understand it, because for me it's very clear, like you don't do these things like that. Your actions have consequences. You might not see them right away, but your actions do have consequences. And it's like,
for sure. And then that's why you want to put out good karma, right? You want to do good things and be aware of those, or if not, then you're gonna have to pay the consequences, right?
Yeah, and it's also it's like fighting for these material goods and these material positions. Like, okay, money makes things easier, but it really isn't. Like, is it really worth like killing for?
Right.
Is it? Like,
Yeah.
is it?
Not at all.
Like to
Yeah.
such an extent,
But
like
they made me think, yeah.
you could easily be a middle class person in the country where these rich people live and be happy with a Ford, but it's like somehow they want to murder people for a Ferrari. And this, I don't get it. It's like, okay, when you're
Mm,
dying and you need to kill to eat, it's a different story. But
yeah.
but if you are like, like a teenager who grew up in a relatively safe place, like you have food on your
Mhm.
table, like you have education and all that, and now like suddenly you want to like sacrifice children for the devil because you want to be rich and famous. Like from a spiritual perspective, for me it's just goofy, like once you remove
Yeah.
the tragedy that people are dying and you understand that death doesn't exist, everyone is
Hmm.
love and light, in the end, it just looks goofy. Like, why are you interfering in somebody else's experience just to have your 2 seconds of fame,
Yeah, right. Yeah. I
Yeah.
guess to kind of answer, your question, I think it is, very possible. Maybe not all of them are doing it, but maybe
Yeah.
some of them are. I mean, who knows? I think there's some good ones though too.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're, all bad, but there's something though going on, and I think that also
Yeah.
goes back to,
The question is, how deep
again,
is it? That's the big question now.
yeah. That
Yeah.
is the question. Yeah, how deep is it, right?
Yeah. Because it's
Oh.
like my entire life, like I heard these conspiracy theories, and I have my shaman friend, and she certainly has beliefs, and I
Mm.
love hearing about it. Like I love even just having the discussion for an ideological sake, but
Mhm.
I never bought into it into such a degree of like, yeah, like they're like, I just imagine like Bill Gates and George Bush meeting in a forest and they put on the rope. Like I'm trying to like imagine that process.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, they
hey,
also
Bill.
they came out with the yeah. And well, they did come out too with part of the Epstein list was what's his
Mhm.
name? Oh my
I
gosh, what
think
is his
both of
name?
them were on the list, Bush and Gates.
Yeah, they were, but what's his name now? Oh my gosh, why is it slipping?
Which one?
Hawkins.
Hawkins. Yeah.
Hawkins.
Stephen Hawkins.
Ste Stephen Hawkins?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm like, why is his name slipping my mind? It was like erased from my,
Yeah.
yeah, Steve Hawkings. Yeah. That was, I mean, how bizarre is that? Like, he's in a
Yeah.
wheelchair and he's just like rolling up to the island. Like, what?
It's like how,
I think that was the most shocking to most people. Like,
yeah.
of all the people,
But
you
then
wouldn't
again, it's
think.
like
Yeah.
we don't really know what capacity all these people were there for, because it could have been like, yeah, like the dungeons on the left, but then like on the right we have a party fundraising and we'll invite the scientists so we can have a cover up, like
Yeah.
it can very well also be that, like
Yeah. But
we
I think
don't.
he went multiple times though. So I'm like,
Mm,
I I think he knew what was going on. I don't know. I feel like
probably.
if you've been on that flight more than once, yeah, I don't know,
But
something
then,
there.
like, imagine that process. Like, hi, Steven, let us help you put your robe on. And then, like, they have to maneuver across the wheelchair. They get, like, nurses to lift him up so they can put his evil Illuminati robe on. They put a little,
Right,
like,
yeah.
lantern in his lap. And
And it makes him lose all credibility too. Like I'm sure he
yeah,
was very smart and right in his things, but like that just like wipes all credibility of like these people too, like that, going there. I don't
yeah,
know. Going
it's
back to
wild.
P Diddy too, they were starting to cover up with Tupac, with P Diddy
Oh,
now
that
that
he's
was
alive?
coming back up. Not that one. That is a theory though too.
Yeah,
But there
that he
was
killed
something
him.
coming back out. Yeah, that he was part of that with
Yeah.
Tupac getting killed. Like he knew.
Also,
So
that he orchestrated the murder of Michael Jackson.
yeah, that he might have been part of that too. I heard
Yeah,
with
because
that too.
apparently his manager or assistant or someone from his
Someone, yeah.
team was present when Michael received his fatal dose of medication that killed him.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think he was, yeah, I think he was up to no good, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And just doing a lot of shady stuff. It seemed like
Yeah.
he wanted to just do like the worst of it too. Like he did the worst of everything.
I think it's like for him it was just like the shamelessness of it because it's like he almost like flaunted it and it made him an easy
Yeah,
target for the feds,
yeah.
whereas like I think like the most of the celebrities who are probably involved, they're
Hmm.
more covert, like they're not like floating
Yeah,
their
out there.
Illuminati robes on Rodeo Drive.
Yeah. With his freak out parties.
Yeah, yeah.
I have an oracle card and we
Uh-huh.
could do for the year ahead as like for
Yeah.
Samhain.
Yeah, perfect
Okay.
because Halloween Samhain was Samhain is it pronounced?
So I believe it's Samhain or Samhain
Samhain.
in Gaelic,
Samhain.
or
Mm-hmm.
Welsh. Correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm saying that wrong. So the origins of Halloween come from
Yeah,
actually where you live
but
in
it
Ireland.
means it was like a spiritual new year, wasn't it?
Yeah, I guess the ancient people did see it, yeah, as like a spiritual new year, turning of the wheels.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought this would be a great opportunity for us to pull a card. So I will pull from my Moonology deck,
Okay.
and this is an oracle card.
Mm-mm.
Did you want to pull a tarot?
Sure, I'll pull three cards as well. So guides,
Sure.
guardians,
Yeah.
ancestors, Isis, grant us guidance for the next spiritual year after the Samhain. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so
Guidance.
predictions for New Year. Predictions for New Year. And guidance for New Year. Three cards. Guidance, guidance, guidance. All right.
Ooh.
Oh, it's this one. Okay.
Should I share my oracle while you
Oh,
pull your
yes.
tarot?
Yes,
Is that
yes.
okay?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So I got a win-win outcome is forecast. I love that. The Libra
Ooh.
scales are being balanced out here, full moon in Libra. So there's a balance coming in. And this kind of, I'm not gonna lie to you,
Is
it
the
kind of
full
feels
moon
like,
ahead?
so this is just symbolizing with this deck. It goes by the phases of the moon.
Mm-hmm.
When is the full moon in Libra? The
Or did
next one,
it
I'm not
already
sure.
happened?
Yeah, I believe that's just from last month, but this is going into ahead here. It's just more so the message of the scales of Libra being balanced out. So that does feel very much like justice system. So, what we've
Mm.
talked about with the celebrities or any other names that are going to come out. I think we're going to be revealed more
Yeah.
information. Also with the elections, the US elections, this is something to do with this for sure. Because Libra is, you think of justice too. So
Mm-hmm.
the justice system, scales being balanced here. So yeah, a win-win outcome is forecast. So I feel like this is actually whatever the results of whether it's the election or anything else going on in the world, this is a really reassuring card that this is going to bring balance and bring more unity, which is great because that's what I was hoping and looking at with the astrology is that more unity coming in and going in that direction of being more balanced and united as a collective. And also a message to know on the bottom of the deck, you and your loved ones are safe. New moon
Oh.
in Cancer. So I do think a lot of people probably have been feeling maybe a sense of insecurity or just not feeling safe, maybe in certain parts of the world, obviously, too, because unfortunately there's a lot of conflicts going on. So
Right.
this is it feels like a hug, like, you're safe. There is safety coming in, finding a sense of security as a collective. that beautiful Cancerian energy, very nurturing, very loving. So we have a full moon and a new moon. So we're getting those parallels here with balancing out and bringing things. So new beginnings, endings and new beginnings coming in. Okay. What was your tarot message that you got, Luna?
Two great ones.
Ooh, okay.
So we have the Nine of Pentacles. I know a lot of
Oh,
people concerned with the cost of living. We have a
yeah.
lovely woman here enjoying the fruits of her labor in her garden. Reverse, I'm feeling an internalization of the process here. So it's more like the hard work of everyone in the coming year will produce bigger fruits of our labor. So potentially, maybe our economic struggle is about to get a bit better. Hope so.
Oh, fingers crossed. I hope so.
Yes, I
There could
see
be
that.
a crash, maybe.
Perhaps because it is upside down. So like there could be a little bit of like what is it called when the economy like implodes and then explodes?
Like a housing crash or economic crash.
Yeah, could be because it could also mean too much of a good thing, and maybe in the West we are not realizing the suffering we are causing by exploiting other nations.
Yeah,
There's also
yeah.
the Queen of Cups, also in reverse. There is emotional nurturing and healing that has to occur. For
Like the
each and one
Cancer
of us.
energy.
It's like that Cancer energy. Yeah, it's coming through. So definitely wherever humanity is as a collective is addressing right now, it's we need more nurturing towards our emotions, and we have to all be like that nurturing mother and holding ourselves dearly, and just beware of these emotions. But it does kind of seem like these economic and these emotional tensions are rising, because those cards are reversed. So it could mean that this is a bit of a rampant energy that's happening here. And unfortunately, I did pull the Ten of Swords as my last card here. This could mean many things. As we all know, wars are happening on the world right now. Potentially, this war is not ending anytime soon. Potentially, more blood has to be slain. But also the swords representing ideas and the 10 representing an end of the cycle. It might mean that whatever economically and emotionally with humanity is now kind of bubbling up to the surface might just kill those ideas that are holding us back. So whatever it is, we are in a sort of ideological precipice, I would say, and some ideas need to end. We need a transformation. So it's going to be, I guess, difficult in some ways, magical in others, easy for some, harder for others. Year, I guess. Potato.
Yeah. Well, it's like, things having to end so new things can come in,
Yeah.
right? And like
Yeah.
when you said too
It is.
about the nine of Pentacles in reverse too, it did make me think of the scales here too.
Yes.
When you're talking about economics even too with the scales. So maybe if there is some sort of crash that happens, it will balance out. It'll actually be a good thing for the vast majority of people who are struggling to afford just to live basic needs.
I
Yeah,
mean,
but so a new beginning, can come
but
in.
it's a transformative event.
Yeah,
Whatever, like there might be a bit of struggle, yeah, before we see the
yeah,
sunrise. So
some wounds.
let's
Yeah,
let's see how it ends. Healing is required. Nurture your emotions and tend to your finances, and
yeah,
let go of limiting thoughts. And
I
that's the
feel that.
message. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to get worse before it gets better, right?
Yeah. And I
I
guess it's
think
like
that's
because we are
coming
a
through.
collective of individuals, it's like different people are in the different stages of being ready for a transformation. The more you resist, the harder it will be for you. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I think, we just have to, I think most what most of you all, need to know is to just take good care of yourself, like you were saying, Luna, and just do the best that you can, and making sure you nurture yourself, and that spiritual protection if you feel so called to it, for sure, especially at this time.
Yeah, do some saging, light up an incense.
Yeah.
Pray to your ancestors.
Yeah, especially at this time. Yeah, you could light a candle for your ancestors.
Yeah.
But this was so nice doing this
I
with you,
enjoyed it a
Luna.
lot. Thank you.
It was great to do this with you. If anyone wants to see us do another video like this or something similar, let us know. It was so great to collaborate with you, Luna.
Yeah, I loved it. Anytime, literally
So good.
anytime.
Really magical things, I think, happened during this. So we hope that you all found this informative in some way and even entertaining too. You know, we're also having fun with it. So let us know your thoughts in the comments. And this will be posted on my channel, StarrySkyReadings, and then this will be on your YouTube as well,
My
right?
channel as well, yes.
Okay,
yes,
awesome.
Yes, and all the links down below.
Down in the description.
I hope I don't forget any. I'm kind of bad with my descriptions, but thank you so much.
I'll just say goodbye to everyone now and wishing you all the best, and we will see you next time.